Record. Hello. So yeah, welcome to actually what happens to be the concluding episode for the flow framework. So I think next time we'll start a new framework. I think it'll be the love framework, but we'll see. Um so welcome. I am going to start with this piece, which is a short one called Here For. So I'll just stick that in the chat and then I'll read it. Here for. Nothing feeds your soul more like doing what you're here for, knowing that it touches lives, ones beyond your door. I'll read that again. Here for. Nothing feeds your soul more like doing what you're here for, knowing that it touches lives, ones beyond your door. What comes up for you when you hear those words?
When you're doing what you're meant to be doing.
Yeah, what happens when you're doing what you're meant to do?
Everything just flows and you feel a sense of contentment and you don't feel like you don't feel restricted. You just feel a sense of contentment and freedom to just because everything is just flowing naturally and you're not fighting anything.
I like that. And is that an experience you've had personally?
Yes. I remember once I went for a job, right? When I worked in a school, when I
Mm-hmm.
my job was to remove barriers to learning.
Mm-hmm.
And um my job was to work with children and in schools and any barriers to their learning. My job was to help to remove those barriers to order that they could learn.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the barriers that nobody would ever thought about was that the parents can also be a barrier to their children's learning.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a barrier that I identified,
Mm-hmm.
right, in the school that I was in, only to learn that to then dig deeper and find out that the partnership between the parents and the school was really hostile
Ah.
and really bad. And nobody had a solution of how they were going to sort it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought to myself, if I worked with the parents, if I took not put the emphasis solely on the children like what the school employed me to do, but if I worked with the parents and I myself build a partnership with the parents, I can then facilitate a partnership between the parents and the school.
Go ahead.
And that in itself will then trickle down to the children and so forth, and perhaps open up other barriers, but at least there would be a conversation. And that's exactly how I thought it. That's exactly how it happened.
Wow.
And all these creative ways of involving parents in the school, breaking down the barriers between the teachers and the parents' negative attitudes of each other, opened up so many um, learning for the children and the parents in the same environment. Um, it was just marvelous the things that came to mind. That as I was doing them, I kept saying to myself, as all these ideas came to me, and I
Mm.
put it out there to the school, to the staff, I was amazed about how many people was coming on board to support what I was putting forward. How many parents were saying, yes, we'll give it a go. It just flowed so easily. And I kept saying to myself, where did all this come from? Because I never had a job like that, quite like that before. So I was thinking, where's all this coming from? Who's helping? I was thinking, who's helping me? And it made such a difference, and it was just a catalyst of so many things that other schools in the borough heard about what was happening at this school, and they were all coming, head teachers, everybody was coming to find out. about the work I was doing with the parents that was making such a difference to the children. It was just a wonderful thing. So lots of doors were opened up, lots of opportunities for parents to actually learn, for parents to get qualifications, for parents to talk about their childhood experiences at school
Wow.
that also impacted on the way that they saw their children in school. It was just a wonderful, it was one of the best jobs I've ever had.
I like that. Thanks for sharing that, actually. There's so many good things about what you shared there in terms of the. And what's interesting is that you were bringing something that didn't exist into existence. And
Yeah.
you were chosen as a vessel through which that should happen. And the willingness to think outside the box and to kind of receive inspiration and then translate that inspiration into action, which then led to outcomes that people were not expecting, or even you weren't expecting.
Mm.
But I suppose what's also interesting is the feedback you're getting within yourself that, yeah, this is what you're here to do.
Mm.
Yeah.
That to me is interesting. And is that trust of the inspiration and not looking around and say, well, nobody else is doing this. Why do I think I should be able to do it? Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm.
That
Mm.
whole piece of trusting that inspiration and just trying it, give it a go, and the results will speak for itself, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, it was because even some of the initiatives that I that suggested to the especially to the teachers and some of the staff, they were saying, oh, that won't work here, not with those parents. That won't work here. That won't not with them. They're too aggressive. They're oh no, that won't work here.
Mm,
And then when they saw it in operation, and I kept saying, I said, what have we got to lose? Just give it a go. Just give it a
Mm.
go. Just give it a go. I will lead on it. Give it a go. I
mm,
goes, just remember, I'm new here, so I don't have a history with them.
mm.
Let's give it a go and see what happens.
And that's powerful because that is the benefit you brought, a fresh perspective that's not ingrained with the history, which made room for a different future. Because again, when people are caught in history, the mind interprets that the only thing that can happen in the future is what has happened in the past, because that's all the data it has. But when you go into inspiration, or you've been inspired to bring into view something that's never been seen before, then that relies on just trust. And when you do that, you follow it through, then it brings in a new experience. Now, I bet if you go to the same place, they won't say the same things anymore because now they have evidence. Oh, no, actually, that works because we've seen it work. You see, and that's why if you're going to be someone who's going to be an innovator, disruptor, you need to have that trust in the inspiration that's coming and not be held bound by the fact that it's not happened before or maybe how it was done before didn't work.
Mm. Mm.
Andy, you're looking very curious there. Come on, what have you got to say on this?
Mm. Now that she mentioned where she was working,
Mm.
are you a retired lady, my dear?
Well, yes, I am. I
Okay.
am.
Okay.
Mm.
You don't look like that. I think you're a retired, I think you're
There
a
you go.
retired
It's
person.
working, Claudette. Keep it up.
Thank you for the compliment.
Yes, it's working. It's working.
Now, where I
You know
was
what?
working,
If I had the chance to do that job again,
you will do.
I would do it in I would do it in some capacity,
Yeah.
Mm.
not on a full time basis, but I would
Mm.
do it on some capacity, or I would work with another school
To advise
to
them or consult with
yeah
them.
yeah
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. No, I know that.
which is what I ended up doing
Okay, that's
Yeah,
good.
for the whole borough.
Mm.
yeah,
So what I did in one school, I
yeah.
was doing across the whole borough.
Fantastic.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
It's really your interest. It gives you
Yeah.
And
joy.
You,
Mm.
but
you,
you know what? But if I just think it was just God opening the doors. I was meant to go to that school. That was the school at the bottom of the pile.
Mm.
and if it can
Every
work
even
there, it can work anywhere, right?
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And
Yeah.
Where
if
they
it
said
works there,
they thought
it
it's
can work
impossible.
anywhere. And
Yeah.
I proved that it works other way because then I got other freelance contracts and I went into another borough
Mm.
in another school that was top of the borough and
Mm,
a drop to the bottom, bad relationships with parents and so forth, very poor reading results with the children and that. And I went in and made partnership with parents and got the school and the parents talking and put in a raft of very practical initiatives, very similar to what I'd done in the first school,
Mm.
and with the same results.
Yeah, that is a perfect example of the piece, really. Saying when you come across what you're here for, and sometimes you just have to take the next step to end up in the place where that's the case. You don't always get some sort of notice that says this is where it's going. You just keep taking the next step, and eventually you will know when you're in that space. And like I said, I love what you're saying when the doors began to open up and you began to get the opportunity to have influence at higher levels and wider levels, and your soul feels a certain way when it's in that space because it feels like fulfilled freedom, like you were saying. That's brilliant. Thanks for sharing that. That really has helped bring that to life. Auntie, what were you going to say, my dear?
Yes. I was working with the old people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, old people, once you bring them to live in the home, they believe that the end has come.
Okay.
They will think their life is really come to an end. There's nothing again to be ashamed. They brought them to home. Joy, their joy is taken from them. Their freedom is taken from them. They think, well, there's no point communicating with no one no more. They enter into their own shell and don't bother to talk to nobody no more. Even when you say good morning, they will tell you what is good about it. So, I love smiling. When I see you, you are not smiling, I will have to say something to make you smile. That is me. So I just then all those women after food, they will just sit down. It's the only one they to get up is to go and rest, ease themselves. Nothing else, no interaction, no nothing. So it was boring for me. Then I kept on when I got to, can I do this type of job? Why can I be sitting down quiet? I talk a lot. So I don't think this place fits me. So I then one day I took a cassette during their break. They said after food, I just took a cassette there. I took my player cassette and I played old song. If you see how they jump up, I couldn't believe my eyes. Those who walking with me, they were standing up. I couldn't believe. I said, now I got it. So I thought, then I talked to the manager. I said, this weekend, can't we do happy hours? Then the manager said, what do I mean by happy hour? I said, it could be 1 hour, it could be 2, so that we put all the residents together, about 4 units. Put them together so that we play music, we ask questions, maybe, we make it, okay, go and try it, let's try. They said, those old people, they don't want to get up. Those old people, they don't want to talk. I said, okay, let me go and try. I tried one Saturday. Everybody bring their people to one hall, and I put my cassette, take it there, the music, old music. So I was playing it. After the dancing, then I started, what can I do? I asked questions. Who was your first boyfriend? Oh my Lord. You can imagine here. Oh, I remember. Oh, this, so. Then they began to tell the story. We were taught that their brain is gone, that they couldn't remember anything. They remembered everything. It's because they do not talk to them. This is why they did not bring their quality out. So everybody began to, until I said, okay, the time is gone. 2 hours went up. They will demonstrate. One said, I'm a high-class secretary. I was a high-class secretary. And this is what I do. And I was just looking. Say all their past story begin to come out, and now you know what they are, you know how to handle them, you know what to discuss with them.
Nice.
I was so ever so happy, fulfilled. I felt fulfilled that I'm not just there for money, but to make them happy.
I love that.
That's what I did. Then get into families. Now, some families, they are, funny people and so on and so forth. This family, good afternoon. So this family, there are some people, they just dump their parents there. They don't come there to see them. So I begin to say, don't talk about that, my daughter. She doesn't talk to me. She did. I said, bitterness, put it aside. Let's try. I took the address. I wrote letter. I said, sign it. So your mom is missing you. She knows you are busy. This is why she didn't bother you. I know because you are busy. That's why you don't come. She loves you. She's missing you. When can you visit? That one is write the letter. It is, oh yeah, call the office. I said she's coming. She came. And this woman, I pity her that she just jumped up. Oh, thank you for coming. Come and sit near me, and so on and so on. That is how I carry on with all the families. I just love when I feel fulfilled. And I was happy that I was able to introduce something new and it works.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's another example of seeing a situation and not just going, well, I guess that's how it is, but something in you going, this could be different. What can I do to make it different? So taking that responsibility and doing something different, trying it and seeing the outcome. And then I love what you're saying. Again, this is what this piece says, right? Okay. It's like nothing fills your soul more. So it's the feeding of your soul that brings that fulfillment feeling when you've done what your soul called you to do. So that bit where it says knowing that it touches lives once beyond your door. So it's like the impact you see on the people that you're trying to support and help is what fills you with that sense of joy and freedom and fulfillment that, oh yeah, I see that me doing what I'm inspired to do produces this positive outcome in the lives of these people. And I feel good about that. That's the beautiful design that we have. And that shows us that we're not just here for us. Because in fact, some of the best ways to receive is to give. Is that when you give towards the life of others, then it in a way fulfills you. Hi Edoka, so nice to see you. I posted that in the chat. I don't know if you had a chance to read it.
Yes.
Have you got anything to say about that, my dear?
Me?
Yes, you. I like the way you looked at me like, is he talking to me? Yes, I am. If you don't, it's fine. I'm just giving you that opportunity.
No, please. Allow me to enjoy the moment.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Let's go the next one. Then I'm gonna go co-creator. Just put that in the chat and then I'll read it. So co-creator. Creation groans, pregnant with possibility, trapped in the realm of potent energy, seeking expression through human synergy. Will you be the womb of flesh that says yes, for humanity to delight in its abundant feast? I'll repeat that. Co-creator. Creation groans, pregnant with possibility, trapped in the realm of potent energy, seeking expression through human synergy. Will you be the womb of flesh that says yes, for humanity to delight in its abundant feast?
I have nothing to say yet because I'm still reading it. I remember when I listened to the last one, one lady said, the English is too much. Can you make it simple?
Oh, that's Muriel.
Can you make it simple?
That's
What's
Muriel.
the meaning of this? I said, that's me. That's my second language. I was saying, don't put big English that I'll be looking for a dictionary to find out.
Don't worry, we'll expand on all of it. All of it will become clear.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, you had that smile on your face, like,
yeah. I think we all get to a moment in our life that just happened, that we just feel we have more than enough to offer one another.
Right.
And as Auntie said the other time, Mom said the other time,
sorry.
Big Auntie. Yeah. She found a place that she was needed and she did it. And I think we get to that moment, and that's where they say creation is looking, God is looking for that, to do that which he wants to fulfill on earth. And I just think I'm in that moment that I need to learn more. I think I've reached a place that I've looked after what was my concern, that I've not, that I didn't give my fullness. at the right because of what I had. I didn't have enough to give. But when I had enough to give, I started giving. And I just think this is the time for me to give what the words have given me, which is experience. And to share it to the world and to just say we are more than enough.
I hear
in
that.
wherever we are. Because life is just about processing it, you know. We're all telling different stories. And every story is perfect wherever you find yourself. And that's the moment I'm in, like, God, you've given me so much.
Right.
I'm ready to give it back to the world as you've given it to me. So thank you for this. I think I need this at this moment. Now God is speaking to us.
No, I hear that. I hear that. I hear that. I hear that. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
Claudia, anything from you on this?
I was just saying that, you know, we are co-creators with our Lord, you know, and because he's such a creative God, we are creative.
Yes.
More creative than we think.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, you know, we have all these creative possibilities bubbling inside us. And sometimes it's about taking the daily opportunities wherever we are to express that creativity, because somebody is waiting to benefit from it.
I like that. I like that.
So sometimes it's having the courage to just take that step. Recognize that there's something in you that wants to come out, but not to hide it, but to release it, knowing that there is somebody. It might not be for 100 people out there, but it's there for somebody. And if you hit the right person with what you've got, think of the benefit it would be to that person.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah. And what I love about what you said there is the fact that it's the success of that thing is not based on the number of people it reaches, which is also a thinking that people often have, like, oh, well, it's only one person. So, which is why, I mean, perfectly example is this particular platform. I don't care if one person shows up or 10 people show up. Do you know what I'm saying? That the way I show up is the same, because the value of one person is the value of all of us. It's not a numbers game. And I love that idea that you could be the portal through which something comes into existence that makes a difference to someone else's life. And you cannot place any value on that, because the value of a life is infinite. That's how I see it. Yeah, I love that. And that idea of trust and possibility. And what unfortunately, Auntie's now not here, but hopefully she's still listening. This whole idea of the word synergy, I presume, is the one that she was kind of wondering what big grammar is that. But the idea of that really is saying seeking expression through human synergy is that it doesn't matter what the divine will is. If that will is to be executed here in this realm, it needs a human being to cooperate with that. So it could be our voice it needs, it could be our hands, it could be our feet, it could be any part of our anatomy that is required to take an action that will bring that divine intention into action. So that is where we are the co-creators, because we receive the inspiration and then we trust and take the next step. And I think what's beautiful about this piece actually is it kind of ties well into the last piece. Because we go back down to Claudette, your example, you were inspired, right? So that was a groaning to say things shouldn't remain as they are. Things can be better. And then inspiration to say, oh, what if we try this? Yeah, it's not been tried before, or no, people are saying it won't work, but what if we do? And then you trust and you do. And then we begin to see what? Change, transformation. And that begins to expand people's realm of feasibility and thought and other people. So again, this is the power of you, the one through whom that was birthed, because you had to bring in trust that thing into being so that people who will see it later and realize it's possible are able to do that. But that's not possible if someone didn't take the first step. And that's why sometimes there are a lot of things that we are the ones that God wants to use to birth into being something that the world maybe is new to or not really seen much of. And that takes trust for us to take those steps without those assurances that, oh, will it work or will it not work? And if it doesn't work, the worst you know is it doesn't work, right? And if it works, you're going to be the hero, right? Anything else from anyone else on this one? All right. Let's go into the next one. This piece is called Development. I'm going to read it. Development. That which is seen, developed in the dark, celebrated in the light. That is the journey of art, of which I play my part. A muse of universal splendor, prolific describes the pleasure enjoyed in the dark. I'm going to read that again. Development. That which is seen, developed in the dark, celebrated in the light. That is the journey of art, of which I played my part. A muse of universal splendor, prolific describes the pleasure enjoyed in the dark.
And for me, I was just thinking, that sometimes we just pay attention to the final outcome of things, and we overlook or sometimes even dismiss all that has gone on in the hidden realms. So and when really, if what didn't occur in the hidden realms, if that hadn't occurred, there would have been nothing in the light to celebrate.
I love that. I love that.
So I think we should give thanks for the hidden realms, because I think that's not just about an idea. I think that's to do with like us as people, where sometimes God will hide us while he works on us, or while we've got things that we have to work on, and then the curtains will open and it's time for us to go out into the light, into the world with whatever has been developed in those hidden realms.
You're doing things to me right now, so I don't know what to say. You are preaching some serious stuff there. That is deep. Yeah, that is deep. That is deep on two levels. That is deep on two levels. Yeah, I'm even emotional, really. I love what you just said, man. Beautiful. Whew. Yeah, Doka, anything from you, my dear? You're on mute, by the way, just in case you start speaking.
So sorry, can someone take? I need to put something up.
Okay, all right, you can go back on it. Right, okay. So here's the thing, Claudette, that's beautiful about what you just shared there. Hey, Auntie, welcome.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Just have a look in the chat for what we just read. It's called Development.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Which is seen, developed in the dark, celebrated in the light. It's just like when somebody's under the training, years and years hiding and training. And those in the line, they did not see what he was going through during the training. By the time he finished and perfection comes, celebration started. Then they will say, oh, I wish I am like this one. They don't know where it's coming from. They don't know what he has gone through. It's like our Jesus Christ. looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith. Despise the cross. Endure the cross, despise the shame, because of the joy set before him. By the time you finish all the suffering, the glory that we have here.
Yeah.
That is that's what I can link it with.
No, I hear that. I hear that.
So there are so many things that we are doing in the secret that, people wouldn't know what we have gone through. But when the joy comes, for example, that is where you can see some people that are envy. Where is it coming from? That they said that to this, isn't it the son of Mary? Isn't it the father, the carpenter? Isn't this we are here together? Where did he come from? How they don't know God has kept him doing, when did it? I'm trying to bring Christianity in, but that is what comes to my mind.
Yeah, that's fine.
Only 33 years dead, but did they know how long he prepared? That he worked for only 3.5 years or 3 years.
Right. Yeah, I get that, and that pretty much is, and I think that ties into something that Claudette just shared about very often when we're being prepared, we're unseen in those moments. But because it's the time when you're put out there that people celebrate, there is a tendency for us ourselves to discount the importance of those moments when those foundations are being built. But it takes the whole continuum for the end to happen, and the fact that the divine wisdom is actually to spend as much as possible in preparation, so that whatever little time you have in the light is a sustained impact that is positive, because all the work has been done out of sight. So you are not making your errors and you're not doing your learnings in the light. Does that make sense?
Exactly.
So there is divine wisdom in that. It's we see it in nature as well. The trees that are going to grow the highest might spend the most time underneath growing root systems that nobody sees. All of a sudden it begins to rise for us to see, but the work had begun a long time ago, and the taller it's going to be, the longer those root system needs to go down to be able to hold it at the point at which, if the wind comes that blows against it, it can withstand that. So there is that. There is also a call here, but before I go into that, Udoka, did you have anything on this? Okay. All right. So one of the things I wanted to say about this is that the piece is talking about the whole thing, but the piece is also really an invitation for us to start to enjoy the process out of the light, where the creative processes are being done. For us to begin to trust, because I find especially with like the likes of myself who do like poetry and things like that, and maybe other people who do kind of art kind of stuff, there's this element where actually we only celebrate when other people see it and enjoy it. But it's the point of we ourselves to begin to enjoy even the creative process, to begin to rejoice in the fact that we have been chosen as vessels to bring these things to life.
Yes.
And that whole process of doing that, to celebrate it. And as you begin to enjoy that process, then whenever you're inspired, you're more likely to turn those into something. And then in its time, which you don't control, the opportunity will come to put it out.
Amen.
Amen.
And so that kind of is one of what really I was calling out in that piece. Anybody else on this before we move on?
What I want to say is that there are some hidden gifts in us that we may not know. But when opportunity comes and you help the person, maybe you want to help the person, then he will look at you. Do you know what you have done for me? Do you know you can do it for money? Money making. Because you did it so well that you will say you'll be trained for it. So it is nice to be conscious of what God has deposited in us. So that we be able, when you don't try it, you won't know, you won't see it. It won't grow, it will just be hidden there, hidden gifts. So that is how other doors will be opening. Maybe your friend is doing something, let me go and do the MC there. You wouldn't know you can do it because he has nobody to call on to call on Frank. Frank, please. Oh, I've never done it before, but I will do it for you. And by the time you do it, your gift will just expand and just open into people's eyes. Then from there, you'll be getting invitation.
No, I hear that.
Yeah,
that actually did happen to me, actually, as it happened. Yeah. But I never tweaked to make money from it, it must be said. But that did actually happen.
I just met some Frank, I didn't know
that did actually happen quite a few times. Someone was going to say something. Someone was going to add to that. Who was it?
I was going to say I agree so much with what my sister has just said. Sister Eunice has said.
Yeah.
It's true. That happened to me quite a few times, but it happened to me when I've always enjoyed writing, but I didn't write for the public or anything like that. I just write for myself. And I had a job where I had to do a lot of writing. But it was more formal things. But I was asked by a company if I could write some training material for some young people. And they just gave me the titles. And I thought, what have I got to lose? And I followed the space and I did it. And that, not knowing at the time, didn't realize what that was going to lead to. But I ended up getting writing contracts for different people. And I was writing online programs to the point where one of the big government agencies commissioned me to do some writing and then to go and take what I'd written to stand up in front of young people and deliver it.
Wow.
Doors was just flying open, left, right, and center. And that was just I didn't realize that gift was just there. It was just a pleasure, something that I used to just love to sit and doodle on the paper. Because I'm always, even when I'm sitting here now, Jim, every session I'm here, if you see the paper, how many pages of things I write and scribble on, it might not make no sense to nobody, but it makes a whole load of sense to me. And I do that everywhere I am. I've got a pen in my hand.
Wow.
I'm always writing something down. And it led to some fantastic stuff that I've done.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying this. I know we have to come to now. I will take your number. I know we have to come to. Frank, I will give you a break.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to come to Frank before, but now I'm hanging on to her. Carry on.
Oh boy, what a laugh. But I love what you shared there, and thanks. It's always beautiful to have real life stories to kind of link into these things. You have just tied up everything we've spoken about so far. So the thing that you do that touches people outside your door, that makes your soul fulfilled, but sometimes you don't know because it's not out in the light yet. But then you, as Auntie was saying, you in service put it out there, and it opens more door for you to do more of it. So and then opportunities obviously to be rewarded for it as well, which is absolutely nothing wrong with that. So it's interesting. I love that. And again, I mean, for me, poetry was similar in that way. It's kind of like, okay, I love writing, I love creating material. So it's kind of like, okay, just keep writing. And I think recently what's happened for me is I've been trying to go, well, actually, I'm a coach and also do writing. But what I'm beginning to realize is that, no, actually, they're both in that space of inspiring people to look at things differently and to and since the life force in me keeps doing that, that's what I should give space to. Because what I've then discovered is that then, as Claudette was saying, this is where the doors are opening for me to be residents in different spaces. I was at a 4-day retreat the other day. I've got about 2 or 3 other poet in residence gigs booked for the rest of the year. So this clearly is, regardless of me wanting to label myself something, what the universe is opening the door for me to do is share more of this gift. And that's what I should be doing. And that will be used to do what it's going to do. Were you going to say something, Udoka?
Yes. It reminds me of my workplace. I think about a month or 2 ago, one of my colleagues lost their dad. And I was like, she came to me and she was like, oh, I lost my dad. I have to go to Australia. Me being a talkative anyway, I like to say something. And I just said something to her. I was just encouraging her and I was talking to her. And I saw she was writing. And I was like, I thought she was doing something else. But later on when she came back, she said, Udoka, thank you very much. Some of the things you said to me were things I wrote in my speech to give on my burial. So remember, your words are inside that during my dad's burial. And I was like, God. And it has happened a few times with the younger one. I don't know why, because I talk a lot. And they'll just be writing like, oh, I don't want to miss this. I don't want to. And I just say it out of general talking to my younger self, seeing my younger self in them and just saying, oh, this is life. This is what I've experienced. This is this. And sometimes they do pick 1 or 2 things and use it for themselves. And I'm so grateful when I see that.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, right? And I think we said this, Claudette, in the last episode we did about this idea that we seem to be the last to know how powerful or how effective the things that are in our lives are, because we take it for granted because it's coming from us. But it's when other people on the other side receive it and you see the impact that it has for them, then I think it asks us to then go back and look at, what am I taking for granted here? This is a gift that is not necessarily flowing in everybody's life the same way, right? I was talking with a poet the other day, and he was explaining to me what his creative process was. And in his creative process, he had specific times at which that inspiration would hit him, and then he would write. In my case, any idea, anything could be something that will cause something to show up. And it flows all hours at any time. And therefore I can be in a space and something will just happen and something will just come up. So then it's easy for me to take that for granted. But actually then recognizing that actually doesn't flow like that for everybody. And if it flows for me that way, then I need to embrace that and make the most of the opportunities while it's flowing. Because I could turn around next year and it could be a different story, right? Because I don't control these things. So it's kind of, which is another reason why we shouldn't waste the, how do you call it? The inspiration. When we get inspired, capture the inspiration and see what you can do to bring those things to life. Because if Claudette hadn't taken those ideas she had and presented it to the school and persisted till the school put it into practice or something, then those changes and transformation wouldn't have happened. And Auntie as well, with saying, let's have a happy hour, let's do things. If you hadn't opened your mouth to say, well, I've been inspired, this is the inspiration, let's do this, let's do that. So it's kind of us being that co-creator with the divine, to bring that divine will and intention into the space to make a difference to people's lives is really what it's about. So I'm going to share this next piece. And it always seems like we're going in reverse and unraveling everything in reverse here, because everything comes next we've mentioned in the one before. This one is called What a Shame. Wouldn't it be a shame to have a beautiful life with parts of you rarely seen, lurking in the shadows, threatening to make an appearance, throbbing and beating in anticipation, full of promise, primed with abundant gifts, that which authentically true to you, yet it struggles to see the light of day, shamed into silence, pushed into the shadows. Those to whom it has been sent share in its bondage, awaiting that fateful day when it will finally be let loose to dispel the myth and bring freedom to these shores. I'll read it again. What a shame. Wouldn't it be a shame to have a beautiful life with parts of you rarely seen, lurking in the shadows, threatening to make an appearance, throbbing and beating in anticipation, full of promise, primed with abundant gifts, that which is authentically true to you, yet it struggles to see the light of day, shamed into silence, pushed into the shadows. Those to whom it has been sent share in its bondage, awaiting that fateful day when it will finally be let loose to dispel the myth and bring freedom to these shores.
Oh, wow. And this reminds me of my mom before she died.
Okay.
Before she died, she has always looked at me as too harmful, you know. I wouldn't want to go more, but she has always looked at me like that. But the good thing about it was before she died, I was given this opportunity. I talk when I speak better, or I enjoy talking when I'm with people than just taking the telephone and just speaking, microphone. I'm speaking. I relate more when people are there. And there was this day, a friend of mine, my neighbor just said, oh, there's this program they're doing in NTA in Nigeria, in Lagos, that the presenter is looking for someone to come and have a speech, to come and talk about families. And she now said, oh, Udoka, let's go together. Let's go together. Auntie, I know you know what you're doing. And that was many, many, many years ago. And I was like, what will I say? Because I have this tattoo here, tattoo there. And it's, my hair is, what's it called? A skin cut with so many colors. And I was, on that day, and I now agreed to go with her. But on that day, I decided that because it's a family issue, I didn't want to distract them. So I made sure my hair was covered and my tattoo was not showing. And just so that they can concentrate on what I have more than who I am presenting to my lifestyle at that moment. And we got to the TV station and we were two ladies and the presenter, and we started talking. Unknown to me, my younger sister switched on the telly and there I was, boom, live. And when she called my mom, Mom, come and see your daughter, come and see your daughter. And my mom looked at it, oh, Udoka is going to disgrace the family today. What she dared to do. Udoka is going to disgrace the family. But God so good, a friend of mine too, very close friend, was with his friend. And they just turned on the telly and there I was talking. And when I started talking, I was like, just talking as me. And later on after the show, my friend, they started calling me, we're watching you, we're watching you on NTA. Well done, well done. But the feedback I got later on was brilliant. Because time was given for my mom to see the other side of me that she never knew. That even though I'm full, I'm happy-go-lucky, I still have some values in me that I hold on to. And she was able, and she said, thank you. You spoke well. You didn't even look at the the screen. You were just as if you were in a girls' environment and girls were just chatting. And my friends who called me, thank you. I felt so good with my friends, boasting that I know that lady, I know that lady. So may we be given an opportunity, to introduce ourselves properly than what the word says. I just said I give you that for the day.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that. Anybody else on this?
I just think that sometimes, I'm going back to what my sisters just said. Sometimes, right, we worry about what people are going to think And when we put something out there, or when we put ourselves out there, that sometimes that can deter us. It can deter the natural flow of what was in that, what would have naturally flowed if it wasn't, restrictions wasn't put around it, so to speak. And sometimes it's like the whole world is telling us how to show up, but we have to take the courage to show up and do not apologize for the way we show up.
I hear that.
And sometimes, if you have something to put out there and you know it's, and you're going to put it out in the right way, it's not harmful to no one, and everything's going to benefit people, then you put it out there regardless, and you make no apology for it, because God knows who that is going to.
Yes.
No, I really,
yes, thank you.
I really do hear that. Yeah, for me that has been a journey anyway. It's that whole idea of trying to manage people's perception of you, which never works actually, because you can't control what people are going to think anyway. So you might as well be true to the essence of who you are and why you be, because as you are co-creator, the reason why that inspiration has come through your vessel is because it is deemed that your vessel is one of the best ways to bring that into manifestation. So to begin to then tamper that or temper that, there's certain people he won't hit if it doesn't come out with the fullness of what it's meant to be.
So right.
So that kind of is an interesting piece.
Thank you.
For me, it was laying down this whole serious person persona and kind of realizing that actually no, life has fun, it has laughter, it has joy, it has all those things in it. And to let that be seen, because that would impact certain people and other people resonate with them and they will be able to connect with it. Auntie, have you got anything on this?
What I can bring out is that most of it is nice to be, when you know what you can't know all what you are, but until other people are telling you this is what you are.
Good point.
It is nice to have confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
Don't look at yourself. It's what want to come out of you that people want to hear. So because it will be, we put ourselves we will camp ourselves if we are thinking about me, about me, how will people say, what will people think? But what we come out naturally, we don't need to pretend to be who we are not. So that if we come out naturally and it will bless others. So when you are thinking about yourself, this is how I'm going to do it, shame is coming surely. Because you will think you'll be portraying what you are not. I will use myself as an example on the platform which I usually join. When they, praying platform, it's about 4 years now. Every day we pray. I'm tired, I will be dosing. I always make jest of myself. I said, I don't mind, let me be there, I'll be dosing, but I will come. But when they want to finish, they say, I should pray. I will remember all what everybody say, I'll be praying. And I will say, when they say pray, how can I pray? It's something platform. What will I say? Hey, I don't know. I used to be like that, but now I don't care. Whatever Holy Spirit put in my mouth, I will say. Do you know, it's happened that last, was it Wednesday? They put my name to preach for 1 hour. And I'm used to, then I want to be conscious. I didn't know when I posted. I didn't know it was recorded, put on the Facebook. Then I had to share it. This is my hand going up, and I was trying to, let me come. I see all those who are ministering, they always come. And when I was high, I couldn't control it. Frank, if you check it, you will laugh. You will see my hand. Hey, this one, that. But if you see all the texts that I got, oh, you made a day. Oh, you did it. You inspire us. I did everything by example who I am.
Yeah.
So it's nice to be free and say who you are. Don't copy anybody. Then you'll be free, and put it out. So this is where you want to copy, when you want to do this, that shame will just come. You will see, you model everything up.
Yeah. No, I love what you shared then. That is so true, and you're a very good example of that, because you're certainly not behaving like any 80-something-year-old should be.
Do you what? Do you mean 58 or 85?
Yeah, it was a slip of tongue, wasn't it?
Don't listen to
Sleaford
Frank.
Fog, wasn't
I'm
it?
58.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay, you know, so ultimately, yeah, if you were to actually, I was going to make a joke earlier on when you were talking about all these old people that you're looking after, because some of them were probably younger than you actually.
Oh yes.
But again, it's can people taking on where if you're this age, you're meant to behave in this way, you're meant,
Exactly.
and that, you know, people begin to then become smaller, right?
Mm.
Withdraw into themselves. When I mean the vitality and the energy of who you are when you're just out there, and the fullness of who you are is brilliant.
Yeah. Sorry to come in there.
Go on.
Frank, you can remember the book you are helping me to write.
Yeah.
You remember the title, Feeling 40 at 80.
Yes, absolutely.
You remember that's what the title.
Yeah. Definitely modeling that to us, that's for sure. Brilliant. Right. Okay. So I'm going to read this last piece and we'll see what we can do with it. Time is not really on side, but I think it's again, the day has just been flowing this way. So this is called Late Living Present. Late to the party of reality. Fighting what is. Arguing my case for what should be. Time spent hosting the illusion of control. The gift of the present ignored. Entertaining imposters instead. The past and the future not present.
Wow.
Surrendering instant access to the truth of now. Reality as it is for life to be lived. I'll read that again. Late to the party of reality. Fighting what is. Arguing my case for what should be. Time spent hosting the illusion of control. The gift of the present ignored, entertaining imposters instead. The past and the future not present, surrendering instant access to the truth of now. Reality as it is for life to be lived.
When I think of this one, I think of not living in the present, not being, not living in the present. Because sometimes, you know, not living in the present moment or dismissing the present moment, and emphasis is given to past or future, but the actual being present and enjoying the present moment eludes us.
I hear that. And the mind is partial to doing that, actually. It wants to regret the past, or relive the past, or try to predict the future, which it's not very good at, to be fair. And you're right, that what you're missing is what's here right now. Most of us will recognize that we're completely and perfectly okay right now, but yet we can feel horrible based on maybe a past that is being brought up, or a future that's being predicted that is probably never going to happen. So it's kind of just really becoming aware of that and then bringing yourself back to the present moment. What's happening here now? Anybody else on this?
Living in the past, it's a wound that can never be healed, except you yourself, you know, put it aside and live in the present. But there are so many lives that are not fulfilled, and they will sit down and begin to think of that past, and it will bring them down. It won't let them go forward at all. For example, like marriages. If a man wants to become something and he did not become it, he will carry the pain and put it on the poor girl that he married to take everything out of the person. Maybe the person will want, I need people to bow down for me. I need people to say, yes, sir. I need people to do this. And he did not reach that position. So anybody close to her, he will put the load, he will put the, what can I get, on top of the person. He'll be taking it out of the person next to her.
No,
vice versa. Men and women, it can be that.
Yeah.
So then you'll be thinking, I want to be. This is what I want to be. You want. But when you don't take the step at the right time, regret will come. The person will continue to live in the past. So you won't see the enjoyment that is in the present, that is in the future. Let me use my own self. I can say, okay, well, how I wish. It was it's past. But the little years I have, I still want to do something. I still want to say, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. That gives joy. But when you live in the past, it's taking life away. It's taking joys away. It's taking the peace away. So it's better to look forward and the present, what you are seeing, dwell in it and make good use of it. So I'm talking to myself.
Wonderful, wise advice. We'll take that one. We'll take that. Just to finish off with, anything from you?
Yes, for me, I think present now has really helped me. Unfortunately, sometimes we have not healed from yesterday. And the present now invites the old of us back to us to repair that. And sometimes I try to run away from it. I'm not ready to face it. I distract myself on something else to fill that space. But right now I'm learning to sit on it. Even if you are the most unreasonable person, there is a reason you've been invited to my life at that present moment. And what is God telling me through that? And recently I found that God is just speaking that it's how you see yourself, you attract others in to present that to you, that you see yourself as to you. And recently, a few days, I was just saying, oh, I don't like what you said, whatever. Somebody said something, I was really irritated. And unfortunately, these are things I say to myself, which are bothering myself.
Interesting.
I'm happy saying it if it's me. But immediately that person gave me the mirror of what I'm saying about me. I was so angry. Right. And my reaction was so poor. Like proving, and later on, I just sat down and I was doing something. And something just said to me that, why are you angry with the person? Is that not how you see yourself? And accepted that is what you are. And that person is just giving you a mirror of your words to yourself. And I just said, that's true. So
that was the gift. That was the gift.
So I just said to myself, I'm sorry, for not believing in who God is in my life. Because it's easy to say God loves me. Are you really sure? Do you really know? Have you accepted that love? That you are what God says you are. You are brilliant. You are this. You are that. You are that. Have you really accepted? So the mirror it showed to me was just for me to reflect on how I see myself. And I had to call that person and I said, I'm sorry with the action, my reaction. And I didn't say much because I didn't want him to get the person to get where I am at my present moment. But I was glad, and I'm always enjoying it now when people show me the mirror. That I've constantly said to myself that I am.
And that's the most powerful bit, right? Because that allows you to experience transformation when you see. And if it takes someone else to mirror it back for you to see, then that's the gift. So so we've gone a bit over, but just quickly, each person, what's the biggest insight you're taking away from today? I'll start with you, Claudette.
Just the wonderful stories that everyone has shared.
Right.
And just thank you all very much. It's been wonderful.
Yeah.
This flow framework has been.
Yeah, it's been something, isn't it?
Yes, it has.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your contribution. Auntie, what are you taking away from today?
Loads. I love my sister that said he always sit down and write. Write.
So does that mean you're going to start writing then?
I want to start my second book. I will start and begin to write because there are so many things that you hear. I will say, I will write it later. That is me. I will write it later. And I will be remembering, that word I I miss it. But now you woke me up.
So she's gonna you're gonna start writing on the spot.
Instead of saying I will remember. Because it's in the Bible, it's in the Habakkuk. Write the vision down.
Make it plain.
Make it plain.
Yeah,
it is what you write down you can go back to.
Yes.
You will think your brain will retain it, will think if you have absorbed it, by the time you want to remember, you won't remember. But when your book, write on it.
No, I hear that. Thank you. Udoka, what are you taking away from today?
My daughter said to me this morning that I should start writing and stop keeping this as an empty book on my bed and looking at the beauty of it, but write on it. So to the lady that spoke about writing, I'm so glad you said it, and I'll do my best to start writing now, as Mommy said.
There you go, Claudette.
Thank you so much for this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for inviting me. I enjoyed it.
You.
Anytime I couldn't come, I always miss the educative program. Very, very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Hopefully one day I'll meet you all.
Yes. Well, we'll have to work on that one. We'll have to work on that one.